Welcome, everyone. Thanks for coming. My name's Tor, if you don't know who I am. Let's see. So, just FYI, if you haven't come to a Carbon Conversations before, we've been doing these since 2019, off and on. I tend to record them to post online for later. It's not a professional thing, but it is some recording. And we do post what we share in form of slides and things like that afterwards, if you are interested in that. So, this idea about a DIY resiliency hack probably has been sitting in my head for at least 5 years. You know, it's the kind of thing where you fix something, come up with something at home, and you feel ecstatic. You're like, I fixed something, and I saved money. And then you want to share it with somebody, but there's like not always an obvious way to share it. So that's kind of what this is about. We have a bunch of people that are going to share different things tonight, and so that's pretty exciting. You'll hear a lot of different voices and different ideas and stuff. And the idea really was, in this setting, not so much an idea that you're going to make $1 million out of patent, but something that you can share with others. It can relatively easily be done by others as well. So that's sort of the general idea. Just a little bit of backstep. Carbon Conversations. Rawhus Institute is the nonprofit that I started and run, and we organize these events through that. The Grange is our host. How many of you are Grangers? Yes. And for those that aren't, come back. There's some cool events here going on all the time. Sebastopol Grange website's a great place to learn about those things. We're going to cover reducing waste, food-related stuff, things for your garden, things you don't have to buy, and repairing, and then some energy stuff, and some other things that don't fit in any of those categories. I think I mentioned some of these. The idea about Carbon Conversations is really about talking about things we can do, as opposed to rehashing what is climate change over and over again. These are just things that historically we've looked at topics that people are doing in our community to get some inspiration and sort of focus on that kind of thing. And then also just individually looking for things that we each can do and find our role in helping shape a better future. I will say donations are always welcome, so if you're feeling generous at the end of the night, just drop a coin in the bucket. These are some topics that we've covered over the past few years, including some with last June. We had a few Climate Corps fellows, Alina and Malia here, who presented. I don't know how many of you were here for that. Anybody? That was a rocking session. Just a lot of cool topics. Some of it is climate adaptation, developing our, adapting to wildfire risks, and some are trying to reduce emissions and sequester emissions. So before I jump into what we're going to share, some announcements. I sent an email out a few days ago about a peace pole dedication at Annalee High School on Monday. There's a story about it in the Sebastopol Times, which is accessible free online on Tuesday. Nice story. I'm always kind of poking around at the high school to see if there's something inspirational going on there. What are students learning? And this was one of those things. I won't tell you the whole story, but just to say that it's available online. The 10th grader that wrote the story did an amazing job. So, Climate Action Night is at Santa Rosa Junior College on the 23rd, 5 to 7. I go there most years. It's a great way to interact with high school, junior college, Sonoma State students that are talking about different legislative bills and other projects that they're trying to get going in the community. And then if you haven't heard, San Francisco Climate Week is starting up this Friday through the 29th, about 500 different topics and meetups that are free to go to. If you can, if you're interested, just Google San Francisco Climate Week, and I'm going to a solar themed one, and probably some other one as well. But Petaluma's Future Fest. Augie's here from Cool Petaluma. I'll be there too, pitching another project. We went last year. It's an amazing little collection of cool stuff. And then May 6th is the next carbon conversation, which I'll talk more about in the course of this evening. So I'm going to share 2 DIY things that we did, and then I'll pass the baton. So this first one just is kind of a quick backstory. We built our house in 2010, and it involved digging a well. It's really clean water. It was the first time we'd ever lived with a well. And within a few years, we started tasting this algae taste, and so it was like, that's a signal, like something's wrong. Have it tested. And then the remedy is shock your well, which is dumping bleach down your well, which is like, really? And kind of nasty, and you gotta clear it out, flush it out, and all that. So that happened twice in the course of 5 years, and I was like, there's gotta be something we can do. And so I remembered that I worked for a year for the solar water contractor years ago, and we would paint the PVC pipes with regular house paint to protect it. And I also sort of remember putting a bucket of water out from our well, and within a couple of weeks it's dark green. It was like light makes all that life grow. And so I thought, well, what if we painted the pipes, the exposed pipes, so that light can't get into it and then stop it from growing, the algae from growing. And I will say that the short punchline is that since 2014, we haven't had a problem. So it's a pretty simple fix. I can kind of show you the idea here. So, I don't know if I'm just in a dark spot, but you can that's a piece of pipe where you see light coming through, and then you kind of come around where it's painted, you can't see it coming through, or keep painting it until you can't see the light coming through. That's what I did, like 3 coats, another coat, so you couldn't see the light anymore. And then this is just a sample, a photo of the testing, and it's saying it's contaminated, go shock your well. That's kind of the report you get from this lab. So before I segue to another one, do you have any questions about this particular app fix? So it's exposed PVC white pipe that your water runs through. Anybody have had this problem with a well? Yeah. So maybe, yeah.
We've had iron bacteria, but this sounds like something different, right? The iron bacteria is more of a sulfurous smell.
Yeah.
You still have to shock the well in the same way, but so this actually tastes like algae.
Kind of algae.
Yeah.
It talks about E. coli and coliforms and nasty stuff.
We had a similar thing. We have a food grade big plastic container that we use to catch water off our roof.
Yeah.
And it always gets like that. We use it to water plants, so we didn't care that much. But one time we were painting something else, we had leftover spray paint. We just spray painted, and the one we spray painted doesn't get the growth like the ones that are not.
I mean, the big water tank that we have to have for fire safety, it's opaque, so there's no light that gets in it, and you open it up, it's been there 12 years, 15 years, it's crystal clear. So there's something, maybe there's more to it than that, but it's the cost of some paint and a brush. So anyway. All right, so this is the second one. And I don't know if others have experienced this, but where you get the letter from your insurance company saying, we're not going to renew your policy. It's going around, it's trending, so what the F, you know? And if you lose your policy, and you have to if you can get another policy, it's probably going to be more expensive, thousands of dollars, right? This is the trend. So we asked, Dina called and said, what's the problem, you know? And they sent a report with several pictures. One was a picture of our barn roof and said it was damaged and we needed to fix it. And I'll show you a picture of it in a second. And so it was like, we go, well, it's rusty, you know, it's a wildfire risk kind of thing, and rust isn't really a fire risk, but, you know, it's like, okay, we gotta fix the barn roof somehow. So we had just painted our house, we asked the house painter, how much would it cost to paint the roof, and would he do it? He goes, oh, yeah, $5,000, sure, a couple coats of primer. He'd never done a barn roof, to be honest. But he gave us a quote and said he would do it. And then I priced out replacing all the rusty pieces with brand new metal. That was going to be $5,000 or $6,000. And then I keep looking, and I found this metallic paint. You get at Home Depot. A lot less. I got 2 5-gallon buckets, about $400 with some materials, and then $300 for a power washer. So this is kind of what it looked like. This is the report they sent us, this aerial photo. They said, oh, there's a hole in your roof. And I go, no, those are skylights. There's no tarp here anyway, but there's a lot of rust, sure. Anyway, you don't want to argue too much. You just want to do something and get your policy renewed. So, you know, and then I was looking at YouTube videos. How do you paint your roof? And there's some guys standing up there on the apex painting. My friends go, you gonna do that? Good luck, see, nice knowing you. You know, so I actually went up to the top. I go, no, this is sketchy. Too easy to fall off. So I put a little sawhorse down there with a piece of plywood and made a really long pole with a brush on the end and just painted the roof. So this is what it looked like at the end. So I didn't have to do, you could tell it wasn't all rusty, but sections of it were. So, and then my one daughter has a drone license, and so she borrowed a drone, took a picture from the same angle that as the report. You know, we don't want to show them more stuff. That's wrong. You know. So, I was like, and so 2 days later they go, oh, you're good. You know. So, anyway, and it looks nice, I suppose.
You got a question?
I have a
Well, yeah.
question for, can you explain, maybe I'm missing something. What was the issue with the insurance company that rusty roof, how's that a fire hazard or?
Yeah, I didn't drill down with them. They said that there were missing shingles and there was a tarp here somewhere. And there's a grainy, you know, satellite photo. And they probably thought this was missing tiles, but that's actually a skylight with some white painted furlongs underneath to hold it up. And there's no tarp anywhere, but that's what they're, I don't know what they're looking at, you know, but.
Take a picture and send it to AI.
Maybe AI, but I don't know.
I'm just saying.
So, yeah, not clear, Woody, not clear.
All right.
And rust isn't really a fire issue. So. Anyway. Okay. Now, Anita's turn to share. Where did Anita go?
Right here.
Oh, you want to,
Honestly, I submitted this.
you
like
forgot what you
2
said?
ago. I'm trying to remember, okay, so.
You want to come up?
Sure. Okay, oh, that's, I got it
I think it's just one slide, but I didn't think.
now. It's just one. Yeah, thank you. So my name's Anita, I'm a waste removal specialist with Recology, so like reduce, reuse, recycle is my life. So some of the things I talked about, like I know a lot of people, when they need something, that, to replace something new, and I think that a lot of the times the default is to just, go to Amazon or just look online, and usually what pops up is these stores that, are something that's based in China, and you order it and you get it, and it's really crappy stuff, that kind of thing. So I'm a big fan of, obviously, seeing if you can buy something secondhand and fix it up. Listen, there's a lot of resources about secondhand places, obviously Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, there's local buy nothing groups. I'm more dirty up my clothes, I get at clothing swaps or garage sales, including what I'm wearing today. One of my other favorite things is if you have the time and a little creativeness. I have my bed, I have a headboard and a footboard set, and I got it at a secondhand, like an antique store. It was in bad shape, and I decided, but it had this beautiful wooden inlay on it with a design, like a flower design, and the creativeness sparked in me, and I thought, let me see if I can redo this. I found an upholstery class, so I ended up getting it upholstered on the back. I figured out how to do that and did the taps of the edge of it, and the little cardboard thing, you fold the fabric over and then stuffing it so it has a really nice back. Sanded it down, stained it, shellacked it, and then I found some oil paints and painted the little inlays. So there was like some gold strips and really beautiful flowers on there, and it made it really pop. And it's just, it's a one-of-a-kind bed now, and it's something that I recycled and reused. And I've had it for over 20 years, and every day I look at it, I'm like, I did that, it's beautiful, I love it. So it's something I can take pride of and share, with friends when they come over and that kind of stuff. So I guess my thought is just, don't always just automatically go to Amazon. I've never been on Amazon, never have, never will. I just think there's so many creative things we can help local businesses. One of my favorites is Green Links on Santa Rosa Avenue, those kind of things. There's the Recycle Town at the Central Landfill. There's places like that where you can just kind of treasure hunt, find something unique, and if you have the time to fix it up, I just think it's a fun, creative way to have an alternative to buying everything new. So that's pretty much it. Any questions?
Yeah, it's funny, somebody asked me the other day, it's like, oh, is this thing this link on Amazon, would you recommend it? I go, no. And not everybody's aware of that. I mean, and I'm not,
it's a default for a lot of people, yeah, I get that. It's just again, you don't want to tell people what to do, but I think it's just a gentle reminder, hey, there's alternatives. You can usually get it really cheap if you get something secondhand, and a little elbow grease and effort and creativeness into it.
I want to put a shout out to Legacy, the local store here in
Yes,
town.
that's a great place too.
I mean, you do have to pay for the items, but much less than you would pay for them if you went into Michael's or where other local
Yeah,
stores.
really unique stuff too, I agree.
Yeah, you have to have your idea when you go in, or you'll
Right. You can get lost very easily.
Yeah, I'm a volunteer there, and it's the most expensive volunteer.
I would just say sort of this is great, but I'd say on the flip side, if you have stuff and, instead of just throwing it away, right? One is if you live on a street where there's a lot of traffic, maybe you just put it out. Like we found a lot of cool stuff over the years. Just people putting it out, and so you can do that. The other thing is we've also, times when we need to clean out the garage, clean the house. It's kind of like a garage sale, except everything's free, so it's a giveaway day. We just put it on Craigslist, come get it, and man, oh man, people come and they just swoop it up, and we feel good about it because it's kind of a service almost,
Oh, gosh.
Passed it on.
So along those lines, and this is a shameless plug, Recology is working with the city of Santa Rosa, September 26th at the fairgrounds at the big main building that's there. We're doing that exact thing. It's basically a free swap. So it's like people can drop stuff off from 9 to 12, and we organize it so we have household items and clothing and kids' toys and all that kind of stuff. And then from 12 to 3, it's just a free-for-all, just shop. I mean, it's huge, and there's thousands of items, it's really fun. You always find something you want and need. What's the date? September 26th.
September.
Yeah, so it's coming up.
I've gotten rid of a lot of things by posting it on Nextdoor. And things like
Yeah, that too.
empty little tincture bottles, there's always an herbalist who's thrilled to have it. I saved until I have a bag full of them, and then
You have a bag right now?
I probably have half a bag right now.
Yeah, no, that's a
I
good
think
one as well.
Oliver's is doing something about that in, next month. They're done.
I don't know, there used to be the herb store in Occidental. She had a basket that was like a free thing, and I used to bring them there, but then when she closed, I started putting it on Nextdoor.
There you go, that works too.
So I think, yeah, I just think I saw the thing about Oliver's just posting something.
It's also Earth Month, and a lot of people are doing Earth Month festivals. Like this Sunday is the Windsor Earth Day Festival, and they all have a lot of different puzzle swaps, clothes swaps, item swaps. So bring your junk there too. And get new junk.
The Grange annually hosts, is it Zero Waste, Portia Simmons group?
Gift away.
They do a gift away
Yeah.
here every winter, and people will bring stuff and set it up, and there's clothes and just all sorts of stuff. And I found some wonderful shirts this last time, and there were silk Hawaiian shirts that people brought. So nice, yeah.
Yeah, I shredded. I know, it's fun, it's like a treasure hunt, right? Cool. All right, well, thanks so much.
Thanks, Anita. All right, Mark.
All right. Yeah, super, there we go. I neglected to send a picture of my stuff after telling me where I would send the pictures. So thank you for that. It was a lot easier to see than my phone that I was planning on holding up. So Subaru is this magical little stuff. It's like an air hardening clay. So like this is one example of something that we've repaired. You can do all kinds of stuff with it, but we find it most useful to repair small bits and pieces of plastic things that break off. Like this guy, once he had 2 break off, it was always kind of sitting cattywampus, which really isn't that big of a deal for a colander, but we had a different coffee maker that literally it would fill up with water and then it would tip, and so we fixed that as well. So if anything plastic does break off, this stuff, they call it like a moldable silicone-based glue. It's kind of like an air hardening clay. It's the consistency of Play-Doh, but it sticks to just about anything. Like this colander, it's literally, it sticks to this thing, and I'll pass this around and you can feel it. There's nothing sticking out here. There's one left, one original guy left that you can see. The other 4 are all Subaru, and they've been on here for at least 6 months or a year, and there's not even a metal post sticking out. It was just a spot weld, and they all fell off. And my wife, I need to give her credit. She said she definitely wanted credit for this. This was her fix. She did this one and the coffee maker. We also, in the garden, you know, you can get those big metal panels, and when you cut them to size, the clipper leaves super sharp edges. A little dollop of this stuff over those. It's been on there for 3 or 4 years out in the UV sun. It's pretty cool stuff. The only place I know where to get it is the A word that I won't say. You might be able to find it someplace else. But yeah, I'll just pass this around. You know, if you were super technical, you could probably 3D print this stuff. But this is just so much simpler. It takes like 5 minutes. This isn't something we would have thrown away. I just would have whacked this last one off of here, and then it would have sat flat again. But you get the idea. And so we've got a bunch of these around the house that we've fixed. This was just the easiest one to haul down here and show. So I'll pass that guy around. The original one is this one that looks really nice. The others are a little lumpy. You just kind of hand mold it on there. And then one last thing I'll mention, in addition to Earth Month, this is also the first national, or maybe it's California Heat Pump Week. So all about heat pumps this week. If anybody's interested, I'm actually hosting a heat pump party tomorrow night at my house from 6 to 8. So we'll have a heat pump happy hour, and then we'll do a little a little heat pump tour. We've got 3 of them, so I can show you those. We're on our way to cutting our gas line and going all electric. So that's tomorrow from 6 to 8. Just come see me afterwards, and I'd be happy to give you directions.
Is this stuff hold up to the rain then and water and all that?
Yeah, it seems to. Our outdoor ones, 1 or 2 have popped off, but we probably have 20 or 30 little metal spikes. Those things as you walk past, if they graze you, they'll cut you pretty good on the garden, on the big. We use them for tomato cages. There's a hog fence that we bend and use for tomato cages, and so we probably have 20 or 30 of those ends with this stuff on them. And I don't know, maybe 1 or 2 fall off each year that we replace. But that hauler has been through the washer, the dishwasher multiple times. I don't think we've lost one off of there yet. So I'm sure it has limits, but it's surprisingly good. And it comes in different colors if you really want to match something. You can actually mix and match it like Play-Doh and try and color coordinate to something to fill in a gap or something if you want something to look nice.
One thing that drives me crazy is when an umbrella breaks and it's just the one metal that comes off the fabric and some people throw the whole thing out. Do you think it would work to attach that metal back to the umbrella?
I don't know how well it would attach to the fabric, but if you were able to kind of mold it around and kind of clamp it on, like if there was a seam and you could mold around the seam, it would probably hold it. It would certainly stick to the metal. I'm not sure if it would actually stick to the fabric. We've tried it with metal a lot, but not with fabric.
Maybe try to sew around it first, so you have like some additional seams to grip onto.
And then as it kind of molded around it, it would hold on to it really good.
I have some of that in the refrigerator, and I haven't needed it, but does it have a lifespan?
It does have a lifespan.
They say to keep it in the refrigerator, it is air hardening. I think once you open it.
I actually had a pack of 5 of them, and I bought them about 7 years ago. And I don't use it very frequently, so 2 or 3 of the packs hardened before I was able to.
They did, even without opening them.
Even in the refrigerator. But I mean, I have used it. It's very useful for its purposes. It's really good when you've broken the cord on your phone charger or something. You can just remold.
That's a really good idea.
Did you buy it from some other place?
I
Or
saw
from the A
it.
place?
I might have bought it at a Kickstarter.
Oh, when it first got started?
Oh. Either that or I saw it somewhere and contacted the company and got a package of. I think I got a package
sample
of,
or something?
Well, no, I got those little packages there. They came in I got 6 or 7 of them.
Yeah.
And they're black and yellow and white and red.
It is for pretty small stuff.
It is for pretty small stuff. Yeah, you wouldn't want to.
Expensive. You wouldn't want to do something big with it, but little pieces. It's really good for.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to try and do a whole window.
Yeah.
Cool.
Everybody get to see the.
Thanks, Mark.
Probably check to see if the company has a website.
I can't remember, so long ago.
Oh.
Oh, wait. Yeah, well, all right.
Where do you go?
Gabe's up. I
Messed up.
You're next.
I didn't put him on there, so it was a surprise list.
Have you seen it? Yeah. Okay.
So I wanted to do a quick bicycle flat demonstration for you guys. I work at Community Bikes, if anyone's been there. I'm hoping everyone can kind of see, because there's a lot of intricate steps, but basically how I see it is if you want to bike consistently, you're going to eventually get a flat on the side of the road. And it's one of those things, if you fix a flat in 5 minutes, you had a flat for 5 minutes. If it takes you 3 weeks to fix a flat, you had a flat for 3 weeks, so it can really add up. So I'll just start going, and if anyone has any questions, but I'll give you a quick play-by-play. So, we got a flat. So, well, there's a lot of different ways. You can run over something, you can get a pinch flat, the valve can fail. So for starters, what I like to do is go around on the tire and kind of push it all together, because what you want to do is you want to have it sit inside the tire instead of up on the edge of it. Gives you a little more room to play with. So because of that, then when I go to take it off, so I go like this with my tire iron, pull it towards me, it should be pretty easy to get off. If you're really struggling, it's a sign that the rim is kind of holding the tire in place. So I'm going to go all the way around. And I always like to work away from the valve, right? Because this is kind of your sensitive area, so you want to protect that as much as you can. So I started by taking one side off from the opposite end. I'm going to reach in and pull the tube out, all the way out, and then take the other side. Yeah, I like to rip the tube out. It's just one less thing in your way when you try to take the tire off. And so, this is my mom's tire, so I thought I'd throw a new tire on there for her. So take this guy all the way out. And what I like to do is once I have it out, I'm going to pump it up. And this is like a good way to check to see where you got your hole in your tube, because if you got a thorn, you want to make sure you take it out of your tire. So I'm going to pump this up just a little bit. Right? If there's a hole in this, you hear it, and so you could find it that way. If it's right here, you didn't get actually something in your tire; it just failed at the valve. So it's a good way to check that. So now I'm going to put this new tire on, but say this was my old tire. I want to go around, make sure that there's nothing in there that's going to give my tube a flat again. So I'm just running my hands on the inside to make sure there's nothing there. And while I'm doing that, I'm looking at the outside, right, to make sure I'm not seeing anything. So from there, I like to, if this was my new tube, I like to put a little air in it first so it has some structure to it. I find it's a lot easier to put inside of the tire. That way, it kind of holds its shape. So I go like that, and I get my wheel, find a little hole. And so now, right, once again, I want to really protect this valve. So now I'm going to do everything valve first, so it's the least amount of pressure. So I start putting on one side of the rim. I'm just going to go all the way around. So now I got one side in. Now I'm going to come back here and start with this side. And right, I want to start right where that valve is. Give it the least amount of pressure possible. And I'm just going to work with my fingers around. It takes a little bit of practice to get it in. There's a bunch of different techniques, but you just kind of mess around with it. So it's giving me a little bit of an issue, but just working it around. And right, so there's air in that tube, so I want to make sure, now that I kind of have it in there, I'm going to let that air out. Right, if I do it before,
It'll be too floppy.
yeah, exactly, it'll be a little floppy and it kind of just makes it harder. I've heard edge of a trash can can be a good way to kind of give you a flat surface to work with. Just going around, poking it in, make sure the tube doesn't pinch itself. So here I am coming up the top, and this is where I want to use my thumbs to really push against this rim of this tire, because it's going to get a little challenging right at the end, so you want to use kind of your strongest index finger, or strongest finger you have. Doesn't like holding the shape very well. Not a good demonstration time, but that's part of the struggles. When you're on the side of the road, you know, you don't want it to be your first time, because that always is going to make it harder. Let's see, I gotta start over. Definitely giving me some trouble.
And your mom's going, come on, Gabe, I gotta get back in the race.
Cars are zooming by.
Is it usually always manually put on the tool, like a shoehorn kind of?
So yeah, I use this right at the very end, is my last step, but let's see.
How many years can you get out of a tube? Presumably you can go for the one. That's it.
I mean, it's really one of those things that's kind of the luck of the draw. I mean, I have a bike from the 70s that I picked up, and it had the original tubes in there, and they just happened to hold, so, you know, you can get years and years. Especially with the, I don't know how into bikes everyone else is, but there's kind of this movement to go tubeless, which is like a really expensive install, and it involves like inserting gel into your tire. And I really don't like it. I find it's kind of over-engineered. Let's see, this is really giving me some trouble. Yeah, maybe, but the goal is to do it myself. But, you know, a little bit of pressure, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, look the other way.
Yeah.
What do you think of the patch kits? Are those?
So they work. For me, it's just another one of those things that, like, I don't want to do it on the side of the road, you know? So I really don't like to use patches. If you're really tempted to, you know, save your tubes, you know, patch it at home when you have the comfort and time to do it. But on the side of the road, I like to just throw a new tire in. A new tube in.
So if you're riding a little, I don't know, little ride trip, you've got a spare tube, some
Yeah,
small tools.
Yeah, I mean, depending on, for like a daily commute, you know, I just have one extra tube. And stop there for a second.
I'll share that, you know, just recently, my my bike had a little mishap, and the arm on the crank snapped it off.
Oh, right.
And so I'm like, I need my bike fixed. And so I took it to Community Bikes. They're great. It was like they have all these spare parts from old bikes and just rummage through to find a matching one. And it was almost matching. Now I actually get a little more power because it was like slightly bigger. But, and they, you know, I had them do it. They'll help you fix it, or you can let them fix it. So.
Does it cost have them fix it?
Yeah, but it's,
That makes sense.
We're definitely cheaper than the other shops, but, you know, we've got to cover the mechanics. Okay, I'll give myself a couple more minutes, and then maybe you guys have to annoy me afterwards to finish it up.
I actually rescued abandoned bikes and take them to community bikes and have them fix them up and sell them.
we could do that. You want to?
Yeah. Let me give it one more try, and then we can start the on. So,
What got you into working at community bikes?
it's just something I've always done, you know, my entire life. I've just always been a cyclist, and then as everyone started driving more and biking less, it kind of started annoying me. So I figured I might as well go down the route of helping other people get on bikes and stay on bikes. So, all right. Well, so you really want to try to hold this side for me. you know, it's good to bike with a friend, so we're just kind of. We're just gonna hold that, just like that.
How many here have a bike? Yeah. Have you? How many ride it? Yeah. Yeah. How many of you have like a bike light? Yeah, have ridden at night? Yeah.
What about a saddlebag?
Saddlebag.
How many of our parents have changed out their own tube?
All right, yeah.
How many out there have solid
Change your own
tires
too?
from the 1880s?
Sure, Raina. Pull that out of your head.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
When I sit on top of my bike, my head's 10 feet up.
Oh, it's like one of those people.
It's a pretty fun.
Is it a big wheel and a small wheel?
Wow.
So I don't have any chains or tubes to worry about. I also have no brakes or gears.
Well, if those that are biking are interested, there is a group started in Sebastopol called Bike Sebastopol that's trying to do something interesting, and so I think I'm part of that. But it's we're going to do bike valet parking at some Porch Fest events coming up, just to like get to meet other cool people on
Okay,
bikes.
so you quickly get the second rim all the way on, and then it just easily pops on just like that. And you're all set. No blood, sweat, and tears later.
So if you didn't have a tire iron, could you use a stick?
I really recommend extra tube,
And
pump,
tire
and tire iron to get it on.
Did you take that home on your bike?
No, I just brought this one to save time. You know?
iron?
So anyway, screw this guy on, and in 2026, cycling is all about comfort, right? So back in the day, people liked really skinny tires with really high PSI. We're kind of over that, so if anyone's still on one of those like old school road bikes, I really recommend kind of looking for something with some wider tires, some upright handlebars, so you can sit up straight and look around when you're going through traffic. And then, you know, at most 60 PSI in your tire is really all you're going to need. So as I'm pumping it up, I'm making sure, especially because this one did not want to sit, making sure it's all seated properly around the edge. Pump it up.
I've noticed how smooth you ride by pumping up your tires. Is that the way to say it? It's like you're like, just pumping it up.
So boom, just like that. A couple minutes later, your tire's fixed, and you're on your way.
All right.
You got a little bulge.
Oh yeah, look at that. Good eye. So yeah, that's not quite, it's not quite sitting.
with that?
So this is something, right, it didn't quite seat properly, so I gotta let this air out. And now I'm gonna try to work that back in.
Hey Gabe, do you guys offer classes like bike repair? Are you thinking about
We
that?
do, yeah, our mechanic, Michael Teller, volunteers his time Thursdays and Saturdays. So if anyone's interested in anything about bikes, he's there 9 to 12.
Is that a kind of thing you can go to the website to sign up for, or you just
No,
kind
you
of show
just,
up?
you just show up.
Show up with your bike?
Setting up the running gear?
Say that again?
Setting up the running gear?
The running gear?
Did you ever?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, any sort of work, he really, you know, meets you at your skill level.
That's great.
Yeah.
I know how to ride.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, we've been working
All right.
with the
Yeah.
Bicycle Coalition to do how to ride with 4th grade classes.
Nice.
Yay.
It's very, very satisfying if you ever want to see a bunch of kids learn how to ride.
Bike rodeos.
Bike rodeos, yeah.
As you can see, right, as you notice, yeah, I made sure it pumped in. It looks
You now
like there's
have
a
a
little
bulge
bit
over
of a... Oh no. Thank you. So anyways.
All right, let's give Gabe a hand. And then And
we know how much trouble it can be.
Karin?
That's why you come to the experts.
Is Karin here?
This was secretly an advertisement.
Did Karin come? No? Okay.
I met someone who knew Corinne.
Corinne?
Oh, Corinne, my neighbor.
Or Corinne, yeah. At the Vegas Alliance.
So, well, I could say something about this. I mean, if some of you have gone to like the Katati Climate Fair recently, or the SRJC has a sustainability fair, the Reuse Alliance, which is based in Santa Rosa, has these repair stations. There's also various repair fairs coming up.
They have their hub in Petaluma too at the outlet.
And the hub, yeah. So that's a storefront. And I think when I was talking to the, not Corinne, but someone else, a lot of appliances should come up. It was somebody down at the Katati thing. I forget it. Steve, maybe. But, so I think the gist of this is just kind of, some of these like light fixtures and things are not that hard to fix. And if you're not, just keep your eye out when they're out and about at these fairs. You can go bring your stuff to it. But
Like repair fairs.
repair fairs. There's one going to happen at El Molino coming up on May
2nd.
May
2nd. Maybe it's May 2nd. Yeah.
Oh, and El Molino?
El Molino, yeah. So check that out. Anybody else want to comment on just repairing appliances and things like that?
I mean, we had an issue with our fridge just fairly recently, and we were about to okay, we're gonna throw this out, get a new fridge, because the fridge part wasn't working, but the freezer was still working. So I looked up to see if I could find a video of how to fix it, and it was just a simple defrost. You just take it all apart, defrost the tubes, and put it back together, and it works perfectly now.
And you went, Rita?
Yeah, our motherboard went out on our range, and we had wanted to replace it with electric, but we just can't afford the whole conversion yet. So we were just past warranty, of course, and they're like, oh yeah, it's gonna be $450 plus our labor, blah, blah, blah. We went and found the part online, watched a video, and replaced it ourselves in a half hour. It was $200.
Which appliance was that?
That was our gas range. That was the motherboard for the oven.
The motherboard. That's part of everything now.
Yeah, I would just say that in general, YouTube is just a treasure trove of how to fix stuff, anything that's broken.
Yeah.
Pull it up on YouTube, there's more than one video. So.
If you can't understand the video, go to the Reuse Hack.
I learned that the device that powers your microwave is called a magnetron. And I got a box that just delivered it, so I'm going to replace it, or try to. So yeah, because of a YouTube. You knew me well. Anyway.
One more thing about appliances. I volunteer at the Legacy. They do sewing machine repairs now.
Oh, nice.
So
Nice.
don't throw out their sewing machine. And if you don't feel like fixing it, bring it to us.
Okay.
I was gonna say, one of the last repair fairs, I took my old Osterizer blender base, and had quit, I pushed the button and it went, nothing happened, it didn't spin. So I brought it in, I thought, well, it's already not working maybe. So the guy pulled up YouTube video, took it apart, and with the help of the YouTube video and his expert knowledge and his little tools, he put it back together and now it works.
Hey.
Another 15
And you went, yeah! Awesome. Yeah, a lot to be
It was
had.
fun to see him do that from the YouTube video.
Yeah. Okay. Felicia is going to share.
Hello, my name is Felicia, and I was here at the Grange for the potluck a couple months ago, and they had a box of free books, and in it I found this book called The Fat Burning Kitchen, and I was familiar with who the authors are. They're heavy-duty athletes and nutritional researchers, and so I took the book and I just wanted to share some of it with you. What they advocate is that if we eat nutritionally dense food, our bodies are going to be nourished and they're going to be satiated, and we're not going to need to eat too much. If we're eating empty calories, then our bodies don't don't get the nutrition and don't feel satiated, and we tend to want to eat more. So I'm going to just go through a list of some of the foods that the book says are worth eating. Organic fruits and vegetables. We don't want the pesticides in our bodies. And I feel like organic and regenerative and sustainable farmers are going to take care of our soil more. 5 years ago, I remember hearing the fact that our soil, we're going to have a problem not having good soil within 40 years. We're just not treating our soil like a precious resource. So pasture-raised animals, if you eat meat, cows are meant to eat grass, and when they do that, their meat is healthy for our bodies, but when they're fed grains, corn, and soy, the fats in the meat are not healthy for our bodies. They cause clogging of the arteries and inflammation. So, and sometimes pasture-raised animals are grain-fed at the very end, and that can be enough to change the quality of the meat to make it unhealthy for us. So we want to try to make sure it's grass-fed, grass-finished, or 100% grass-raised. Wild-caught fish, better than farm fish, because the farm fish are living in a closed environment where they're in their own waste, and the food pellets that they're fed are decomposing and causing bacteria, so they're going to have more of a toxic burden on our body. Fats are really important, healthy fats for our bodies. Our brains are 60% fat. They're our fattiest organ. And so when we eat healthy fats, it nourishes the brain. Our cell membranes are made of fat. And so, again, healthy fats are going to keep those membranes supple. Nourishment coming in, waste products going out. Fats insulate nerves, and they help with the electrical signaling for memory and cognition. So healthy fats, a limited amount of grass-fed butter, organic coconut oil, olive oil, avocado oil, and avocados by themselves are great. Vegetable oils, they're discovering nowadays, not really so great. Takes high heat and pressure and solvents to extract the oil. If we're eating cholesterol and saturated fats from healthily raised animals are actually great building blocks for the body. Okay, and then the last item is dairy. The authors of this book advocate raw dairy, which is unpasteurized. Also, they advocate not homogenizing the milk. Both those pasteurization and homogenization, the heat causes the fats in the milk to be less digestible for us, and it kills the enzymes and minerals and amino acids in the milk. Community Market is a wonderful source. They sell really delicious, great raw milk. It comes in a glass bottle, yellow lid. Look on the top of the yellow lid for the date. And they also, when you return the bottle, you get your $3 bottle deposit back. They also sell a great 100% grass-fed raw cheese by Organic Valley. So if we eat healthy foods, that's really great health insurance. So when I looked online, there are 3 books called The Fat Burning Kitchen. They all have different authors, but this one is by Mike Geary and Catherine Ebeling. Thanks.
Any questions or comments on that? All right. Leah.
Oh, yeah, I have quite a few. So I did a lot of different, well, not a lot of different, but a couple of little things that are talking about reducing food waste. This year I kind of realized how much food waste impacts our greenhouse gas emissions. Reducing your food waste can be like one of the most impactful ways for you to reduce your carbon footprint. So I've been trying to be a lot more intentional with how much food I am wasting, how I am wasting it, making sure that I'm either composting it, or when I'm making certain recipes, like when I'm making mashed potatoes or something. You could throw all the skins down the garbage disposal, or you could make a mid-recipe snack. Potato chips, and it tastes so good, and it's way healthier because you made it, and you know exactly what's in it. That's a really fun, I don't know, I get hungry when I'm cooking, so you're eating it while you're cooking, you're not wasting it. Another one, there might be some left. I made dumplings today. You liked them? Okay, yeah. So I steamed them and I fried some of them. But those dumplings are made of essentially all the wilted veggies in my fridge. You know, right before they're not good anymore, you get really disappointed and say, oh, I didn't eat the veggies. The broccoli's going like this, and it doesn't look that good anymore. Like this. So I'll chop it up into tiny little pieces, and I use like old yogurt containers that I've eaten. And I'll put those tiny chopped up veggies in the yogurt container. I filled up that entire yogurt container with veggies over however long, put it in the freezer so that like those veggies are still in there. And that full yogurt container made 81 dumplings. Yeah, so you get a lot of food out of those last veggies that just maybe you would have thrown away before, or even composted. This is also a really fun, if you like to cook, it's really fun to make, really easy. You can just cook up those chopped up veggies with like soy sauce, ginger, garlic, oyster sauce if you like that, but whatever you like, you do that. And then you wrap it in dumpling wrappers and either steam them, fry them, freeze them for later. You could try some if there's some left. It's really easy. If you have little ones too, it's really fun to get them, to hold them. That's that tip for now. Any questions there?
And so you just keep,
Go ahead. Yeah.
so you just keep adding like every day or so, whatever's left.
Yep.
So the super bad stuff gets composted, but
Mhm.
it's salvageable, it just gets chopped up
Yeah,
and added
exactly.
to the, okay,
Or if I have like a freezer burnt veggie that I don't want to eat,
right.
I'll chop that up and I won't know when it's in the
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I'll be first.
You have a note on the soup stocks too, and that's also a really great use for like things that wouldn't otherwise be considered edible, like onion skins, garlic skins, like a really tough stem to the bottom of your broccoli. Just whenever you're chopping your vegetables, making a recipe, all that stuff, I just save it in a freezer bag, and then when that freezer bag's full, I just throw it in the pot and make stock.
Yes, exactly.
Mm.
I freeze chicken bones too. I don't know if you're supposed to do that, but yeah. And then Gina?
Oh, same thing, the stock.
Yeah. Yeah, there's so many things you could do with the little scraps. So I call them scrappy dumplings. Yeah.
You can also take all the little chopped up pieces in your skins and puree them and then spread them out thin and put some kinds of seasoning on them and make crackers.
Ooh.
Crackers.
Veggie crackers.
Yeah, I'd love to hear your scrappy recipes. If you want to come talk to me after, I'd love to hear them. But those are just two little ideas for you. And there's another thing, I don't know if it's the one right after this, I might be standing up in a minute. But one of my friends who, some of the people up front now too, had another recipe. And let's see if it's the next one. It's not. So let's get James up here, unless there was another. Oh, there was another.
I'm feeling a cookbook in your future.
Actually, there's a really good book called the Zero Waste Cookbook. And
Yeah.
if you know Refill Mercantile in Petaluma, it's like the refill store. The owner of that store is actually friends with the author of that book.
Yeah, you can get the Zero Waste Chef's email or blog post, Substack, and she dives into food and everything. In fact, I'm going to talk about something I learned from her. But I took from you because you could autograph it for me.
Yep, gotcha. I'm actually, so I'm an AmeriCorps fellow right now. And within my cohort, did you have a question?
Well, the AmeriCorps, is that
Is the California Climate Action Corps
Yes, it
an
is.
offshoot of AmeriCorps?
It is an AmeriCorps program, yes, and they focus on like climate resilience projects. There's 2 other California Climate Action Corps fellows here. Yay! And another AmeriCorps fellow here. Yeah, but we're here to build community resilience. And one of my attempted projects this year was an internal cohort cookbook called Scraps to Scrumptious. That's where I decided to like start doing this. And I have both of those recipes in there. But, yeah. Thank you.
All right, Jim, Crawford.
There's no Chloe here?
Oh, well, her slide will show up somewhere.
Oh, I don't even have a slide.
Oh, this is your slide. I made it for you.
Oh. What do I do? Let me see.
See if it's correct.
Okay,
I know Malia did.
so we have a 4.5 acre farm in Katati. We have 4 cows, different ages. They're all miniature jerseys, except I have a low-line line for beef. We raise our own grass-fed beef. We use all manure, a lot of it, for making compost and compost tea. The primary ingredient in my compost is fresh bovine manure. Why would I do that?
Because you have a lot of it.
That's one good reason. Because the cow is a perfect pasture manager, and they excrete a hormone out of their muzzle that breaks down cellulose if it's fresh. And so I take that fresh body of enzymes and bacteria and put it in my compost tea. That's my primary ingredient, and I add some other stuff. I sold some compost to a neighbor, and some kind of borderline hippie guy comes over in a beat-up truck, and he's going to have me load his truck with compost. And he takes out a big bucket of worms, puts it on the ground, and I'm going, oh, what do you do with the worms? He goes, he plants the worms right in, when he plants a tree or anything like that, he puts the worms in the ground first and plants in that. So he's got this whole vermiculture thing happening. I've tried for probably 5 years to raise worms. Poor things always die. And so he set me up with 2 half 50-gallon drums that are like blue plastic, food grade. And that was my worm bins that he set up for me, layering cardboard and compost paper and stuff like that. But he taught me how to feed them. So I started raising the worms. He makes his compost tea with just the worms themselves. So he'll go into his worm bin and get probably 1.5 gallons or 2 gallons in a net bag, fill it up with everything in that worm bin, and suspend it in water and aerate that for 3 days. And I'm thinking, oh, that's the weirdest thing I've ever heard in my life. Okay. But I decided to try it. So I had the compost tea operation going. I got the net bag and I put it in there for 3 days. And when I pulled it out, it was this nasty bacteria-laden goo. And I thought, oh man, I really screwed this one up. And he said, no, that's exactly what you want. You take that and inoculate a new worm bin with that. So it extracts all of the nutrients from the worms, and the worms don't die. So when you put them in a new bin, it also stimulates the eggs to hatch. And so you get like 1 million worms in this new bin. I thought, well, I'll try it, and it works unbelievably effective. So I extended that up a little bit higher. I got, you know what a tote is? A 300-gallon tote? It's probably the area of this table, and maybe about that high. I cut it in half and flip it over, and now I got 2 worm bins. One of them has a valve in the bottom, and the other one's got the lid in the middle. I haven't figured out quite yet how to get to the middle of it. I had it on a pallet. But I filled it with compost and layered and all that stuff and inoculated with the worms. And I planted plants around the outside of it, and when I water the plants, the water drains through and leaches all the nutrients out. And I get this black goo in the bottom. And I was told, that's toxic, you can't use that. So I was just tossing it out. And I thought, this is a whole natural process. How about if I put it in my compost tea operation and aerate and just see if it works? So out of one bin, I think I got about 10 gallons of this extract and put it in a 50-gallon drum, and it turned the compost tea black. And so I tried that. My usual approach, I'll feed half the farm and see if anything dies. And we must have 15,000 flowers or more, 100 fruit trees, and all of my own vegetables. I eat almost everything off the farm. So I did over half of that, and an amazing result. I can't believe how healthy everything is. So, if I can remember his name, came up with a plant health pyramid. It's got 4 levels, and at the bottom level, if you have a plant growing, the bottom level means the plant isn't dead yet, but you have aphids. Aphids are the low rung. So if you start feeding your plant healthy, you get up to that first level, and the aphids can't digest the plant material. And so, I tried that. All my aphids are gone. So I keep feeding this thing compost tea and all that, and I get up to that between 3 and 4, and all the beetles are gone, because the plant is now producing complex carbohydrates that the more advanced digestive system in the beetles can't digest that. And so we don't have any insect pests of any kind at all. We don't have any more powdery mildew at all. And I was spraying every 2 weeks all summer long, all the dahlias, and I have a wine grape vineyard. I had to spray every 2 weeks. I don't spray it all anymore. And I have none. It's unbelievable. It fixes things like fusarium wilt, nutrition problems, and the food tastes really, really good. So I think Craig was out and saw how good the garlic is growing. The only thing it's ever gotten is compost tea. Yeah, and it's
It was the biggest, I was there today, it's the biggest green garlic, like the garlic bulb is under the ground, it's, it's gonna be harvested in May, June, right, it'll come to there. But the green showing, it was the fattest green garlic I've ever seen in my life, and I've been growing garlic, we've been growing garlic for years, and I just was flabbergasted.
Yeah, I am too, actually. So it's the same with the animals. They get all grass-fed. And what that gal said about the fat, if you grain-fed a cow, what it does is it changes the fat from A1 to, I think it's A1 to A2. And the biggest problem is that if you feed them grain, like people eat, it changes their stomach acid to 7, like ours. I'm like 3 or 7, I forget the numbers, but anyway. Now the cow's stomach is like our stomach, and their bacteria can now infect us. Grass-fed, they have a different pH, so when we eat that food and it has bacteria on it, our stomach will kill it. That's the worst part of that. And then the other is milk fat is A1 or A2. So we have all A2, A2 fat producing cows. We have 2 calves coming due next month. Yeah, it's going to be an exciting time on the little farm. We do tours and workshops, soil health, plant health, dahlia workshops, flower arrangements, the whole gamut.
Where exactly is your place?
You know where Lowe's is in Kentucky?
Yeah.
Hellman Lane is right next to that. We're down at 810 Helen Lane.
It's called Heritage Farms, right?
Heritage Farm.
She calls it Heritage Farm Florals. Yeah, she's got a website. Yes, sir.
I don't know how big of a problem this might have been to start being Kotati compared to somewhere like Petaluma, but have you noticed any impact on slugs and snails?
They love our place. Yeah. I don't know what to do to get rid of them other than slug bait.
Yeah,
We have a lot.
yeah.
Yeah.
We've used
Ducks.
coffee grounds, caffeine, killing.
Coffee grounds? Oh, really?
Caffeine.
Ducks is a great solution, but then you have to raise ducks.
Ducks will also
Oh,
eat
yeah.
small plants, so.
Yeah.
I'm trying that. Sprinkle on the ground like you do bait.
Yeah,
You gotta be careful because it is acidic, so you can't use too much around certain plants.
Oh.
but it's small enough, it's not bad. But if it rains and it kind of messes things up.
Yeah. I think our soil has a, you know what a buffer is, right? A buffer, acid buffer. Our soil is so well buffered that I don't think you can change the pH.
Worth a shot.
Yeah,
Sounds like you're down to experiment.
okay.
So, let's give Jim a hand. There's a footnote here that there are some compost giveaways coming up if you can't make the tea. May 16th in Sebastopol, free compost. Let's see who's next. Chloe.
I don't think that's enough.
Well, yeah, that's right. Just roll with it.
Hi everyone, my name's Chloe. I live not too far from here, right next to Laguna de Santa Rosa, and I myself love to grow my own food. I think it's a really good way for you to personally feel more connected to your food, especially due to a lot of issues with our agriculture conventional systems that feed our grocery stores and us today. And I personally live in a tiny house. My house is about 8 by 13 feet, so I don't have a lot of space to start. Veggie starts inside. It's also cold this time of year, so it can be too cold just to put seeds outside. You also have issues with birds and other pests coming to eat your seedlings when they're very small. So a lot of different issues there at play. The good solution, fine, are building a greenhouse, but that's something that a lot of us cannot always afford or also have the space for. So here comes my little solution. I did not come up with this originally, but it is taking old plastic milk jugs, maybe a container that you brought grapes or a salad or a sandwich in from the grocery store, and you're able to start your seeds in there, and it acts as a mini greenhouse. So it's able to help retain temperature, so it's going to heat your plants. It also helps retain moisture, so both things that our little plants like. And it's also really easy to call up a local coffee shop or a chain coffee shop such as Starbucks and ask them to hold on to all of their milk containers for the rest of the day. So you can go and pick them up at the end of the day. And then you have free milk containers and don't have to go to the store and just buy a bunch of milk and maybe drink it, maybe don't, maybe waste it. But I didn't buy any of these containers, and I've been able to start a lot of seeds outside this year. So it's been very successful and a lot of fun. Question.
I just want to have five.
I take high fives too.
Okay.
All right. I mean, this is an oldie but a goodie, and you probably already know it, but gosh darn it, I thought anyways, I'm gonna say it, because I remember, I used to be on the city council here in Sebastopol, and there was a debate about putting weed cloth in or not, and I was on the forget that, so I wrote a law to ban weed cloth on public property in Sebastopol by city staff. Pissed off some people, but whatever. Because here's the thing, right? You got your little plant coming up, right? You got your little wild chamomile that comes up, and here's the chamomile. Ooh, look at me! And you're like, I don't really want that chamomile, right? So you just take your piece of plastic, and sometimes you got to be careful with plastic because it's here to stay, and there's some good uses for it. You take that piece of plastic, that weed cloth, that's all that is, right? You throw it on top, and then you take your wood chips and you put that on top of the wheat cloth, and then what happens in the wintertime? Well, the seeds blow in because that's what happens, and guess what's growing on top of the wheat cloth? Weeds, and then they go through the damn wheat cloth, and now you gotta dig everything out and take the trash or let it fall apart. And worse yet, before wheat cloth, they used to use black plastic, and you find the little shards of that shit all over the place, and it was so horrible. So horrible. So, anyways, here's the alternative. Oh, I'm a chamomile. What do we do? I'm so scared. And so you take that chamomile and you put it just, like on the digital multimeter box, and then you take your little cardboard, in this case, the nice reusable popcorn bag, and you put it on top and you wet it down. And you take your mulch, your little hay, straw, some wood chips, you put it on top, and guess what eats the cardboard? The worms. They turn it into worm poop. And guess what you have to do to dig it up? Nothing. Your job is done. You made an Earth Day birthday cake, right? That's it. Remember to sheet mulch, and remember to get it moist when you do it. That really helps. I try really hard now, having made the mistake recently of using some cardboard with tape on it, and it just really pisses me off that stuff's there. So I try to only use the cardboard without that. You want to make sure there aren't cracks so the weeds don't come through either.
You can also contact a lot of like cafes and other like shops that get bulk pastries, because a lot of times those pastries come in 2-part boxes that don't have tape.
Yeah, that's a good one. And there used to be this really great packaging company well, I didn't like what they packaged, but they had great cardboard in their dumpster. And it was big pieces with no seams, no tape, no staples. I mean, really big pieces. You could just go. If you're doing it for landscaping professionally, they do sell rolls of cardboard. And you just take it and roll it right on down. While I'm on this thing here, I'm just going to say real quick plug, being at Jim's farm today. Regenerative soil is where it's at. This is part of that. I was so impressed with what I saw. The soil there is the most alive thing I've ever felt. And you have these raised beds that I've never seen before, for goodness sakes. You took gopher wire, or like hardware cloth, I think they call it, and you roll the big thing across. It's like the little squares to keep the gophers out. I saw that you folded it up, you put stakes in around the thing, and you had a raised bed with cardboard lining it, the compost, nice mulch on top to keep that moisture in. It was just such a live thing. It was so beautiful. You got to check it out. So anyways, that's sheet mulching. Thank you.
Break up that stuff.
How does what?
How did you break up the cardboard?
Oh, do you mind going back? I can try. I don't break it up. I just lay it out. Newspaper, cardboard, just lay it out flat. Yeah, you overlap it and basically make sure you're layering over it. Like if you have a lawn that you don't want, you don't have to dig up the lawn to then put in something else. Just lay out some cardboard and put some compost or wood chips on top of that. And boom, bam, boom, you're done.
There's also a link. This will be turned into a PDF later, and you can click the link or just look up a sheet mulching guide by Daily Hacks. And it breaks down all the steps, all the materials that you need.
Daily Hacks is number 1. Yeah. Oh, that's my glass straw. Never mind. Okay, so that's where maybe an example where you use a little plastic. You got to use the plastic right. It's going to be here to stay. I'll get this here in just a second. And who's got one of these things? You ever seen one of these little blender doohickeys? Okay, you don't really need this piece of plastic. You get them, they give them to you, all that. All you need is a handy dandy glass jar like this. And thank you very much. And you just take yourself a little bit of water and you put the water in. And you know how they sell that metal spring that goes in the side of it, right? And you shake your drink up and the metal spring will make it all come to life. And okay, well they gotta mine the metal. That's like great if you have lots of oil to use and all that. So everything takes energy, right? Everything takes energy. And so we got to be careful how much of it we use. And what happens to the waste when it goes away? And what happens if you forget to bring in the metal lids and instead bring in the plastic lids, which kind of takes away from your point a little bit. But when you're doing this, I just want to show you how you don't need to buy all those things. You can just take this in with ice. Handy dandy. It's amazing. Ice. It does the same thing as the metal and the water and the glass. And voila, you've got yourself a drink. And you've saved a lot of money. Thank you very much. glad I didn't break that.
Nancy's not here, so.
I'll pick it up.
Nancy's not here, but she was gonna share about her box and hot box stuff, so we'll give her a lot from Jim on that, so we'll keep going. So Dina's up. Oh, yeah.
This is one of my obsessions of not getting rid of something because one little thing has a problem. This is our tent, and the poles actually have a lot of duct tape on them because they're starting to break, but the tent still works. But the loops that the tent poles got fed through were starting to rip. So I found this orange kind of like parachute material, and I just folded it over each loop. And with the sewing machine sewed it, so now we have new pockets to slide poles and years more of using the same tent. And Zero Waste Chef, she said she was going to have a darning online free class a few months ago. And I was looking at YouTubes trying to fix holes in socks, and you know, they were getting that bunched up feeling and it was uncomfortable on my heels. She had a different way of doing it, and basically what it is like elementary school when you had to make a weaving loom, you had all the threads that went this way and you learned to weave in and out. So she showed us how to darn the holes in the socks with making a weaving loom, and you just use a fork to push it down before you tie it off so that you get it nice and tight and it's flat, so it's not bunchy on your heel when you wear it. And I discovered the hard way why to do it in a contrasting color, because when I did it in a matching color, I couldn't see what I was doing. so contrasting pretty colors work. And another thing I got very stubborn about is not getting rid of jeans. So I have a lot of jeans with the false butt. And what that is...
Go to one side or the other because you're walking into the...
Oh, well, it's just the tent.
Yeah, no, I know.
Okay, sorry. Is that better?
That's better.
Okay. So the false butt is you have an old pair of jeans that you can't fix up anymore, cut off the legs, and you have all these patches. So the false butt is you just sew a piece of denim inside, and the butt is good to go again. And then I was trying to learn the Japanese art of shashiko. I probably said that wrong because I usually do on accident. But it's like when you patch, and instead of hiding the patch, you make it more decorative. So I put another piece of denim and tried to use embroidery thread to make it more interesting. And if you look it up online, the things people do to patch their pants and everything else with holes, it's just amazing just how creative it can be. And then the patched part is stronger and more decorative. And the last thing I should have brought with me, I just learned from my friend Carol yesterday. She was showing me at Mend and Befriend how to embroider a flower. And she said, put it on, I had it on a little square of denim because she said, put it on fabric that after you embroider, that fabric then becomes a patch. So now I have a denim patch with an embroidered flower to put on a pair of jeans. So that's all I...
Excuse me for a second, excuse me.
She ran off before questions. Any questions for Dina? No? Okay, I have like two, maybe more, maybe. Again there. So, we've tried to use all electric lawn tools in our house as much as possible, and those come either corded or batteries on the device. And at some point, I bought one of these portable battery boxes, mainly for emergency preparedness. So if the power goes out in our house, we can actually run our fridge or freezer off of that thing. But then, between emergencies, they're like, it's not doing anything. So I had this on the side, and meanwhile, the we have like Milwaukee brand of tools, and the weed whacker, weed trimmer, the batteries were starting to die, and they would last 10 minutes, and you're like, you wouldn't get very much done. So then you look at like, what does it cost to buy a new one? You know, they're $200 a piece, these batteries, those little bricks. And then, you know, you can buy this thing for about $400, but it's got 10 times the energy in that thing, this box, than one of those boxes there. So I'm like, I don't have a chart showing you how much money I think I saved, but you get the idea. So I bought this corded weed trimmer, Ryobi, for $100, and now I just put my battery box on a little dolly and wheel it around with me. And I can just work as long as I want to. You know, it's not the battery telling me to stop. And I think I saved some money. I'll quantify it next. But that's basically the idea. It's like, I bought that for emergency preparedness purposes, and then it's like, what else can I do with it? So we're just getting more use out of it. And what else did I find out?
So how long can you run it on the portable battery?
The portable battery box? How long? Well, it's got 10 times the energy of one of those little ones, so whatever that thing will power.
Maybe about 30 minutes or 10 times 30 minutes.
30 minutes or an hour?
Yeah, a couple hours, you know.
5 hours, about 5 hours.
By the time you're ready to take a break, you know. Yeah, and then we also have a little lawnmower that you almost can't buy these kind of corded electric motors anymore. They're all massive batteries, and they're hundreds, if not thousands of dollars, the battery-based electric lawnmowers. So I'm still trying to get some life out of this. I just drag my dolly around and mow around. It works.
One question?
Yeah.
Some of the tools, like some of them require more power. So does the PVB have various voltages it can run?
Well, it doesn't show on this side, but it's got an inverter inside that converts the battery to AC power. So this is something you would plug into your wall, like the 110 outlet, and that battery can give you the equivalent amount of energy as plugging into the wall. I don't know if I answered your question the same way, but there's really not. You can get different sizes of battery.
Well, here's what I'm thinking. In the upper right corner,
Yeah.
it looks like I'll call it 12 volt. I don't see what it says.
18 volts.
Okay, 18.
But yeah.
Well, how do you get 18 volts out of 110?
You don't. You have to get a weed trimmer that has a cord. So there's no battery on the weed trimmer or that mower. It assumes you have an extension cord plugged into somewhere. It's also lighter to carry. So, all right. So the same sort of theme. This battery box thing. I don't know. How many of you have something like this, like a Goal Zero or something like that? Yeah. You can charge them with solar panels, but typically the company that makes the battery box wants you to buy their panels, and that can be $300, $400, $500 for just the solar itself. Now, also happening right now is that a lot of solar panels are being retired off of homes and businesses, etc., and still have a lot of life in them. They're being retired for other reasons, and so guess who has a stack of them? You know, my yard. So, like, at first I was like, what am I going to do with these when somebody offered them to me? I'm like, okay, we can put the right cable on it, the right plug, and it'll power this box for a lot cheaper than buying a new one from the company that'll do it, that'll make the box. So, this is essentially what we're going to do at the next carbon conversation. If you wanted to add solar to your battery box, or get a battery box and have solar, you can. And then basically it's good for emergencies, camping, and we saw yard work. I think my philosophy with that's anything that has an emergency preparedness function is that you also try to use it on a routine basis, because otherwise it's just like sitting there waiting for that disaster to happen. And this is actually, there's a place up at Shone Farm called Sonoma Earth School. Anybody know this place? They have absolutely no power there, and then somebody said, hey, they might need a couple solar panels up there. I go up there, I go, wow, you really need this to work, because they had no grid power. And this is their power system, this battery box. I gave them some panels and we hooked them up. And they're mostly outside, but this is right in our midst, you know. It's like off-grid power system. Anyway, yeah.
So, to be clear,
Yes.
if you come to the next carbon conversation,